Begin Podfix Network transmission. In 3, 2, 1.
Whether you're fly fishing in a stream, getting those ankles wet, or deep in the ocean casting nets, fish nerds. Fish nerds. Fish nerds. It's a podcast.
Welcome to the Fish Nerds, a show about fish, fishing, and eating fish. National Podcast Posting Month. I'm going to give you 2 crappie hippies in a row. Just gave you one, and the crappie hippie also called our Fish Nerds hotline at 607-378-FISH and updated my how to locate suspended fish and then get back to them segment for ice fishing. So that'll be interesting. Here is the crappie hippie. And, of course, he's the co-host of the Lure Love podcast, which is a wonderful podcast. Make sure you tune in to that.
Hey, Clay, this is John King, the crappie hippie, your tree-hugging redneck from eastern Kansas and co-host of the Lure Love podcast. I just got done listening to your tip on how to get back to the same depth when you're fishing for suspended crappies through the ice or not through the ice. I got a couple ads to that. First of all, one of my favorites and easy as heck is keep a Sharpie in your pocket. So when you get that strike, you can right there at the reel. Don't bend over and try to do it at the water's edge. You just put about 6 inches of Sharpie on your line right there at the reel. You get that strike, hook it, don't start reeling it in. Just hang on a minute, grab that Sharpie out of your pocket, mark the line right there at the reel, and then you'll be able to drop down same depth every time. Even if it costs you that first fish, it's worth it because, like you say, you might be sitting on a whole bunch, but boy, especially crappies. Crappies aren't going to go down, and they're only going to come up only so far to hit a bait. Now, another thing you can do is use a slip bobber, or you can just use a slip bobber knot. So you got a little piece of yarn, a little piece of string, a little piece of rubber, whatever you make your knot out of, your stopper knot for your slip bobber. Just slide that down to where the water's. You start out at 15 feet and slide your bobber stop knot down there right at the water surface, and then you come up a little bit, pull your stop knob up a little bit, and that stop knot will show you where you've been dropping. Or, of course, if you're using a slip bobber, you're basically just doing the same thing, but you have an indicator on there too. So this has been Crappie Hippie, your tree-hugging redneck from eastern Kansas, with a couple more tips on how to get that same depth, because I'm telling you, especially crappies, they love to suspend, and if you're out of the zone, you're out of the game.
Whether you're fly fishing in a stream, getting those ankles wet, or deep in the ocean casting nets, fish nerds. Fish nerds. Fish nerds. It's a podcast.
Just for the halibut!
Fried in a basket or broiled in a pan, eat it raw like you're in Siam. Fish nerds. Fish nerds. Fish nerds. It's a podcast.